Sorry about that. Hello, UAPB Nation, and this is Matt Metagross here, one of your power rankers, here with Spazzy today to do our power rankings. Spazzy, you got anything to say about these battles before we start off?
Actually, no, I don't have much to say about these battles other than good job to the people that actually did good. And I'm very, very disappointed in the people that had questionable plays. I'm disappointed in my 10th place.
But, week one, people are still going to use their teams. These first few weeks are going to be very volatile with our rankings. So let's start off by mentioning that the two Torcat teams, Geelong and Hamilton, there was a forfeit involved, so we will not be including them in the rankings. And there was
be instead of 12th place to first place, it is 10th place to first place.
Yes, and it is also worth noting that the Geelong Torcats are getting replaced next week by the New York Metagross.
That's actually all we have to say for now. So let's just jump right into the power rankings.
Yep, and at number 10, we both have the Genova Giratinas, I believe.
Yeah, and the Genova Giratinas was replaced.
This week it was still Genova. After this week, it will be
still Genova,
the Houston Dynamos, I believe. Yes, but Genova lost this week, and it was a 6-0.
But it's the way he did that made me very, very disappointed.
Yeah, it was just an absolute stomping. Honestly, I mean, it was our only 6-0 of the week. It's kind of hard not to put him there.
Yeah, and Ghost had a nice matchup as well, but he screwed it up. But I can't really say he screwed it up. I wouldn't have done any better, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, I mean...
So... He just made the worst plays in a really bad prep. That's a little bit of a overstatement, but... I'm going to put it as blunt as I can.
Alright, and then, so there's not much to say about that. I mean, it's a 6-0 where he probably had the matchup. It's kind of hard not to put him down there. And additionally, he's getting replaced, so we kind of have to see what the Dynamos will give us next week. So, moving on.
I'm also never going to forget that he used belly drum on a Venusaur.
Wasn't it I thought it was a smear
on
goal.
Smeargle. No, he was on Venusaur with the Smeargle, and he used belly drum.
Yeah, for a second I thought you were saying the Venusaur used it, and I was just like
Venusaur Cameron belly drum.
Yeah, I was so confused for a second. Anyways,
that would be scary.
Moving on to 9th place, the Los Angeles Lake Guardians. Now,
do we both have that?
Yes, I actually just looked.
Wow. Pretty surprised.
We're doing good.
Nice.
Especially compared to last week. But anyways, the Lake Guardians.
Last week was just...
I have to say, I didn't like the prep at all because...
Only a little decent,
psychic.
But...
Well, there was no
He had nothing for Jirachi.
And I believe he did have the... Unlike Tup said, didn't he have a steel type in Skarmory?
I think he does. He could have he could have brought that when Jirachi was a little tiny. Well, just not that obvious, but it was kind of obvious.
Obvious. You don't know what set. You don't
what
know
am I saying?
It's gonna bring, but it's gonna come.
And screw something over. And Skarmory should have been there.
I mean, I was looking at it, and I agree with this because of the team he was facing, but oh my gosh, if he would have brought a mono attacking calm mindset, it could have run through the Lake Guardians team, and they wouldn't have been able to stop it. Wish Calm Mind Protect Psychic.
That was
the
just
Lake
the game
Guardians
then.
setup?
Had Tup brought something like that, just ran right through the Lake Guardians team.
Yep.
He underprepped
so,
for that thing that could be like the worst, or the LA Lake Guardians' worst nightmare.
I mean, and it's something that, whether you're running a physical or a special set, it always runs either Psychic or Zen Headbutt / Hard Stamp, depending on how bad you want the flinches and how little you want to miss. It's something where, you know, it's kind of hard to put you any higher when you see a threat and you don't bring a single resist and you have a really good resistance scar.
Yeah, he also made a little questionable plays, but I put very, but whatever.
Well,
that's all I have to say. I was not too impressed with the way he played or the way he
agreed. So
for Jirachi.
Oh my goodness, we have another agreement. What are the odds? The
Oklahoma
City
nice.
Thunderous.
You're doing good.
Okay, so the Thunderous in 8th place. I mean, this was one where you have, I think it's just, we had other teams to put above him. He didn't play horribly, especially considering it was week 1. But yeah, I mean,
yeah, he pretty much, he played pretty well. I can agree on that. The spots more than him.
Like sometimes, and this is something, a common theme with our losing teams: risk versus reward. And you know, sometimes you take too big of a risk and it doesn't pay off for you. I'm gonna quickly go to the replays just to remind myself. I wrote something down about a misplay, and I want to double check what it was so I don't sound like an absolute idiot. Which I'd probably do anyways.
Like, just he made this misplay, but it never happened.
Yeah, but let's see. And oh yeah, and then something else was, I felt, it was with the Arcanine, that's right. I felt he should have flame charged because he was at the point, and it was also with Miss Prep, because if he brings that Arcanine with, instead of Wild Charge, he has Morning Sun, and the first move he clicks with it would have been a flame charge. He just swept his opponent's team. Because
this had potential if he brung flame charge, but a little.
He did bring the flame charge. He brought it. He just didn't click it.
Oh, I see.
Like,
why would you bring a move that's pretty useful and not use it?
Yeah, that's kind of my point. Like, I saw his team builder. He had the flame charge, and I thought he was at a point where. Also, I thought he should have brought some recovery. And
Arcanine's
recovery.
Arcanine's bulky
and he's hard. And he brought almost the right set. He had the right idea. Just needed recovery and needed to be more aggressive with it. Especially against the team that I don't think he brought the Rotom Wash, which was his own. But that's a different team. Yeah, he didn't bring his Fire Resist.
Does he have Fire Resist? Oh yeah, he does.
Yeah, I think he has one, and it's not a great Fire Resist, if I remember correctly. Because that's why I had his opponent so low in the week 1 because of his fire weakness. Which, his fire weakness is T-Tar. And his fire resistance is T-Tar.
You have the wrong.
Yeah, it's T-Tar and a level
Game again.
I
think you're on the wrong. Oh wait, who are we talking about again?
He played the Noiverse.
Oh yeah, he did.
I'm talking about his opponent. Yeah, like
I'm looking at some of my power rankings here, and boy, was I harsh on some of them.
Yep. And so, just looking at that, there's like, I kind of get why he brought the flame charge, but again, Alomomola, you can, if you do it enough, I kind of get why he brought the wild charge in, but like the set he brought was just so close to being right, but it didn't quite pan out, and he wasn't aggressive enough with it. He could have won, but he didn't, and then it all just went downhill from there. Anything else to say on the Thunderous?
No, not much. All I have to say is he played pretty decently. Not decently. He played pretty well, actually. We just don't have anywhere else to put him.
So moving on. How do we have another agreement? The glide scores. It's amazing. This is actually amazing.
This is pretty impressive. I did not expect this.
Well, we're doing well. But anyways, the glide scores. I thought that the way he played around the Lando was poor, and
plays were a little too obvious.
Yeah. Okay, I want to double check something on what was his Manaphy set. Because
I hoped he brung Z Ice Beam. If he brought Z Ice Beam, then that was the set I was thinking.
Well, if he was worried, if you're worried about Yachi, maybe, but otherwise it's really, and then you can just run Scald. I mean, I really think that Z Ice is unnecessary because you can OHKO that thing without the Z move, and then if you're worried about the Berry, then you just run Watarium Z and do more. So, but anyways, what was the Manaphy set again? I'm having trouble remembering. I had a note that I thought it should have been just like the way he played it was definitely too defensive in my opinion. Like he didn't ever go just all in with that setup, which was what he needed to do against this team. But yeah, because the reason I like this team was because it gave Manaphy all the opportunity in the world to set up, and he just didn't. And so,
yeah, I have no comments.
The Scarfsel Valley could have been cool, but switching it in on a Lando,
that was kind of a bad move. You should have preserved it.
If the Lando goes for EQ, it was a roll to drop. If I'm not mistaken, it was either
he kind of under prepped for Lando.
He did, and
nothing he had switched in safely.
And Lando's kind of on. You can't under prep for it. I mean, Ninetales is a decent Lando prep, but it's not the greatest because of the team that he has built around Lando. He has a great fire type in Mega Houndoom that outsped his Ninetales and just nuked it. And yeah, the Manaphy, I know it had the Ice Beam. Oh, he stayed in on a +1 grass type and let his Manaphy just get whittled. And at that point, the second his Manaphy went below half, he didn't have anything that could take a single hit. He didn't have any offensive pressure, and the second that play happened, he couldn't set up with Manaphy, and he lost. So, there was where I think the Gliscors lost the game, was when he let his Manaphy take 50% from a Giga Drain from the thing that's supposed to wall it, and he left it in. But anyways, moving on to I have next the Minnesota Monfernos.
Dang it.
Hey, we had to have a difference at some point.
The same thing. I had Washington Weaviles.
Interesting.
I just had nowhere else to put.
I had the Weaviles higher just because of the way, like,
they built around Lando and used it well.
He did do really well with what he did. I also enjoyed the set on the Hitmontop. I thought that was really good. If his opponent hadn't brought the one thing that could beat a not Hitmonchan. If his opponent hadn't brought the one thing that could beat a Hitmonchan, a counter mod, then the Hitmonchan also could have swept. The only thing I disagree with was maybe just Earth Plate on Lando instead of going with the Life Orb, because I could have seen like the only sets I thought were worth it on Lando were Earth Plate, just because he didn't really need many other moves to hit his opponent's team. Like, problem I think we're going to see with the Gliscors is they do have a little trouble with ground types. But because their closest thing to a resist is Zygarde 10%. They've got Crobat, which they didn't bring, but I kind of understand that because Stone Edge would have nuked it. So, I mean, but depending on what they were worried about, I don't understand why he brought Life Orb. Maybe you can show me a calc when we're done with it. Later, when we're done with this whole thing, that showed why he needed the Life Orb to secure a 2-hit KO or to secure an OHKO. But as far as I saw in the match, he didn't need to run Life Orb.
Yeah.
But
I feel so terrible here. I have nothing to say for everything you have.
It's alright. I just don't like Life Orb personally unless there's a calc that says you need Life Orb to secure a KO somewhere. That's just kind of my opinion. Like, I'm fine with Life Orb if you need it for KOs, but if you don't need it for KOs, run something that's not going to chip yourself away, and honestly prevented his own sweep with that Life Orb. Because if you remember, he died to his own Life Orb.
Ow. That must suck.
He was
like you had it ready to.
He was killing things off left and right,
but then it just dies.
And that's something that really can hinder a plan. So
it could really just bring everything down. You're losing someone that has just swept right through the opponent's team and dying to your own item. That must have felt terrible.
Now, to be fair, he still won. We can't hold that against him too much on the end of the Weaviles. Now, my person in this spot was, as I said, the Monfernos. And the reason I actually moved him up, despite the loss. Now, his loss was 4-0, not great. But he faced my number 1 seed. This was the 1 seed battle. And I can't really fault him for going up against my 1 seed and losing. And I felt he played and prepped well. It was just the Bayonets did it better. Which is, I mean, I felt they had the best team in the league and they proved me right. So, I don't really have much more to say.
Yeah. Okay, I had the Bayonets somewhere else almost at first, but I'm just gonna switch them with first. I don't know why this person's in first when it should be the Nets, in my opinion.
Spoilers much? Nah.
Okay. Doesn't matter. It's power rankings.
Let's see. So, anyways, next we move on to 5th place. We have another.
Do we have the same?
Yes, we did well.
Good. The streak is gonna continue.
the Nebraska Neuverns. So, yeah, with the Neuverns, I would have put them higher, but I'm still worried about their fire weakness. Because
Yeah. Pretty nice prep, and
Agreed.
withered the other team down pretty nicely. Just didn't feel higher.
No,
Mostly
I'm
the
still
fire
just worried
weakness,
that-
so I'm still a little
Yeah,
concerned about the fire weakness.
I'm just worried that he'll come up to an Infernape, because an Infernape knock punches his T-Tar and it goes down, or close combats depending on the set. Thunder punches Alomomola to death, clicks fire move on the rest of the team with a setup move, and he wins. I'm just worried about things like that, but the week 1 performance from the Neuverns was excellent, and I don't have much to fault you on there. In terms of just week 1, I've put the Neuverns in at least 3rd, but just based on their team and the rest of the season.
Yeah,
So,
kind of how I feel.
anyway.
But let's go to number 3 already. All right, so no, not number 3, number 4.
I had the Weaviles.
Oh, so our 4th and 6th
just
place are
flipped.
swapped.
Okay, nice.
That's the.
Besides, I think we might have one other, but
Oh boy.
anyways, yeah. So we already discussed these two. I'd just like to discuss for a second why I had the Weaviles above the Neuverns. I underestimated the power of Lando T, and that's a mistake I will never make again. And looking at who is their Zmon again? It's not on their team page. They didn't bring a Z move this week, so I don't have that to work off of. Let's see here. Teams. Z Captain Lando T. Yes. So the thing I love about Lando T when it's a Z Captain is usually your opponent will have 2 checks: a flying type and a grass type. And Z Fly nukes the grass type. So, I think
Yeah, it really does.
the way he played the Lando this
Now I'm
week,
thinking about it.
the way he played the Lando this week, and the way he just used his whole team to set the Lando sweep, and his entire team just had great sets, and I think we're going to see great things from him, even though both of us had him at 11? 10? Something like that last week. We both had him really low last week, and he just shot through the rankings. Excellent job to the Weaviles. So,
yeah, that really good job. I'm hoping that you. I'm not actually hoping, but I want to see if he goes any higher next week. Like, if he can shoot up to 3rd or 2nd place next. What was I gonna say? Next week, I'm gonna be really impressed.
he plays the 3rd place team in segue to the Pittsburgh Piratas. So, our 3 and 4 teams
Too.
are
Yeah,
playing.
nice.
So he'll have his shot next week, and I think we're really gonna see what this team can do. So moving on to, as we said, the 3rd place team for both of us is the Pittsburgh Piratas. Tub coming out strong this season. And honestly, I just watched Tub's team builder. I agree with every single ounce of prep he brought. Now,
yeah, he went deep into his prep, and he broke the. Okay, I like how he also broke the team down with just that Jirachi.
Yes.
All you needed to make a good prep was Jirachi.
True, and I'd like to ask Tub, please, just shoot me a little PM did you realize he had a Scarm? Because I noticed he had the Thunderbolt. So I'm not sure if he just messed up in his team builder when he said that. He might have just misspoke in his team builder because he did have the Thunderbolt, or maybe he just threw on the Thunderbolt for the heck of it because he's scarfed. I really want to know if the Thunderbolt was intentional. But yes, the Scarf Special Rocky was a great thing this week.
I still only regret. I only regret. Oh, I keep saying it. I only regret one thing. Well, I don't regret it, but I think Top might kinda should.
What is it?
Yamega, the Z Captain.
Really? I didn't notice that on Tup's team.
Is it? Wait, am I right? Is it that?
Let's see.
You check. Is it?
I honestly thought it would have been. I thought it was Rachi, but I might be wrong.
Jirachi seemed like the better choice. I don't know why, but this is not the.
Pittsburgh Pirates. It is
that's not the time.
Correct. You were correct.
I'm
sorry. I made a mistake.
But that's not the time to be talking about that, though. This is week 1 power rankings, not post draft.
No. It's
so.
No. You know, with the team he has and the way Tup plays, I don't think he's the biggest fan of Z moves.
So I can kind of see why he.
So.
But he's fine without it.
I mean,
apparently.
I don't think Tup needs Z moves to win, honestly. Even though he,
especially against the opponent, it was just an easy click.
Like he recognized what he needed to do to win that game, and he did it.
He did it pretty well, actually.
You can't fault him for that. I mean, the way he played the Suicune with the predictions was beautiful. He played that Suicune absolutely beautifully. Congratulations, Tup. You are now the best Suicune player I've ever seen.
I don't remember how he played Suicune, but it was probably pretty good.
He baited the Z move out. He forced Tup to waste almost all of his fusion bolts. I mean, not Tup. Tup forced his opponent to use almost all his fusion bolts on his Karen Black.
Actually, pretty good.
He baited the Kieran Black so much, and the way he played,
and the way he played it, pretty much
with the Suicune around that Kieran Black allowed him to win that game.
Use all the fusion bolts, or just use ice beam?
Maybe all but one. It was like there was 1 or 2 times when he got an ice beam to hit it, and got his opponent on an over prediction. Whenever his opponent made one play, Tup was in their heads. Tup was going on the bad man with the predictions.
I'm hearing a weird noise right now.
But excellent job to you, Tup. Let's see what you can do next week, and you might jump a couple more teams. So the next 2 were so close.
Here's the... Okay. Just changed my power rankings. So, my first and second...
You just flipped them. Okay. So, in second... these 2 were so close. Because of what we had in the... Partially because of what we had in the post-draft, and partially because of who their opponents were.
Okay, seriously, what is that clicking?
Second... I think that's... probably me because of my air conditioner is crap, but it's summer, so I'm not going to turn it off. Anyways, in second, I had the only 6-0 of the week on the winning end with
Rice
Reggie
Nocto.
Rockets.
Or Rice Nocto. I'm so used to calling his team Rice now, but okay, Houston Reggie Rockets. There we go. Nothing else to say. I should not continue. So, the only thing here for the what was I gonna say?
Okay, so where were we? I completely got disconnected there somehow.
Yeah, I saw you disconnected, and that just completely lost my train of thought.
Okay, so
Like you left, I'm like,
yep, we'll edit it out. So starting again. So 3, 2, 1. All right, and in number 2, I believe both have the Houston Reggie Rockets with the only 6-0 of the week. And I must add, even though your opponent didn't play the best, to get it a 6-0 and to preserve it is an amazing thing.
especially in draft.
Excellent
But
job.
I could not move him any further than where he was on my spot. Preserved the 6-0 well, which is why he's still... Well, he would have been in first had his opponent not sucked.
Well, the only reason I had him in second is because of who the number 1 team is and who the number 1 team is. The one team just had the marquee, that was just our game to watch of the week, and whoever won that, like, I think we agreed that whoever won that game would be first, didn't we?
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna break a promise. Also, something I'd like to ask is that his opponent essentially cheated, even though it wasn't intentionally. I'm not holding that against him. But his opponent did not make his Sableye first turn, and that helped him because he needed that prankster later in the game. And even though the Sableye kept its prankster illegally, he still won. The
It doesn't... It was probably just... I'm not sure if it was an accidental, like, not clicking the mega thing.
It was intentional. They said in the commentary that they weren't aware of the rule that they had to mega.
Damn.
It was just a simple. It was just they weren't aware of it, which I can understand. You know.
Yeah, we can't hold that against him.
They just didn't realize it. But the point still stands that the Sableye not megaing did help his opponent, the Giratinas, and the Giratinas still got 6-0.
If that was because of the bad plays or because Rice was just able to switch up everything to preserve the 6-0.
Well, the belly drum, I don't agree with.
Why? I don't even know why he belly drummed in the first place.
I understand why he did it. I just don't understand why he did it on the Venusaur. Why didn't...
Like, you were at half... No, Rice said in his commentating... why I keep stuttering. But he said in the comment... I can't say the word. Oh, okay, in his video. There you go.
But anyway, so the only thing about that is it essentially became a 5-0 because of the mistake. But, like, Rice even said, like, we were talking about his commentary, where the prankster recovers, the prankster calm minds kept him alive, but with that Sableye a lot longer than it should have, and he still preserved that huge 6-0. The way he played the Persian was incredible. There was no point where that Persian came in and it didn't have an impact. He knew to bring the X-Cloud, a low-tier Mon, but he just saw it has a great matchup, I'm bringing it. He's not afraid to bring his low-tier Mons, which is something I admire.
Yeah, X-Cloud ran right through. I can understand how that is his nice... what's it called? I keep forgetting every word. Come on.
And the fact that he was able to bring the Crocodile, it never touched the field, but it still just had this massive presence of OHKOing basically his opponent's entire team. Except Mega Sableye, obviously, because nothing OHKO'd that except Sylveon, which he had on his own team.
Yeah.
But
I'm so... We have nothing else to say. Let's go on to our first place. Now, our first place
in the one, the only, the legend, the Bristol City Bayonets. I did that
so low on my list the power rankings post draft.
First on mine, I called it I win.
Proved to me that they deserve to be in first place.
They beat your 1 seed, and they were my 1 seed. Like, based on just last week's rankings, the way they won, and the fact they won, actually
Josie
was
deserved.
Huge.
It deserved to.
Yeah,
he deserves to be up there. Like, I am very impressed.
And we just got a note that the Genova Guillotines, the 6-0, actually, despite the fact that it was a 6-0 victory, also there was a DQ, so it was a 6-0 even if it had not been preserved. So, he had the 6-0 anyway, but he still the Rockets. Wanted to make that little note because I just received it. But anyways, moving on with the Bayonets.
I have kind of nothing to say here. Just like the Monferno's pretty good prep.
Yep.
But just had a lot better plays that really, really impressed me.
And
I keep saying that.
I mean, that's what Pokemon's all about. But I'm looking at the battle right now, and he played around with that Scarf. What do you call that thing? Heatran. Played it amazingly. Made the right switches. Got his rocks up early before the Absol Mega evolved, so he didn't have to worry about it, which is huge when you're facing a Magic Bouncer. And more importantly, a Salamence. And just the sets he brought and the way he played them were almost perfect. Now, let's see. I would also like to add that Alolan Muck is a monster. Because this thing
except it got burned
took
early game.
So many hits and still had the offensive presence. Just stayed around.
Alolan Mug is a freaking monster.
It is terrifying to face.
And maybe an Earthquake from a Lando could take it out. But when Lando is not on the field, is just going to run right through.
I'm looking at this. A burned, what was it? Burned and intimidated by the Salamence. It still did 13%.
That's pretty good. That is, wow.
The fact that it's able to
attack,
it's able to do that much to a Salamence through Intimidate is huge. And a burn as well. So, and the fact that he was able to get his Vaporeon to survive a devastating Drake and then protect the Draco so that his opponent just couldn't do anything to it was huge. Because he ended up being able to just take out the Mence for absolutely free. The only thing he lost was his Muck that had already put in so much work in that match.
Yeah. I have nothing else to say. As usual, I have nothing else to say.
I would like to just something I noticed was I would like to ask Flame during the match, why did you bring the Mence set you did? I realize you were worried about
I don't
Ditto.
understand what the set was.
I realize you were worried about Ditto, but Scarf Moxie Mence put in a ton of work against this guy's team.
Understand why you were? What was he? I know he was Roost.
It was Roost, Defog, Hydro Pump, Draco Meteor with Z Draco.
Hydro Pump.
So, now something else I'd like to add. One final note is something I didn't expect this team to do. Like, I always expect this when I'm facing a Decidueye, but with this specific team, I didn't expect a nasty pass into a Scarftran. And the second he did that and got rid of the Rotom, he could switch out, come back in, and win with the Flash Cannon.
Yeah, that's pretty much the game once he does that.
The way he played, just his whole team worked around his opponent, and then the stall out at the end, excellent job to make sure that hacks couldn't beat you. That's always huge. If hacks can beat you, then there's always a chance your opponent can win. And that's something you should always be worried about when you're facing any opponent. Can they just get some hacks on you and win? If they can, then you always have a reason to be worried. But the way he played this match, the only thing I think that could have beaten him was if the Absol had Hidden Power Ground. At that point, he may have had a shot if it was Hidden Power Ground Absol, but that is so niche that I can't blame Flame not for bringing it.
How come I had nothing to say this entire time?
But
I gotta work on that.
But excellent job to the Bayonets.
And good job to the people that actually played.
I mean, good job to everyone in this league. Good
job to everyone except you, Ghost. I'm pretty disappointed in you.
He's not around anymore.
Nah.
He left.
If he watches it, then he'll know I'm pretty disappointed in him.
So, anyways, I think that's the power rankings. So, we'll see you guys next week. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Keep supporting the UAPB. Go check out Spazzy. This is Matthew Metagross signing out.